So hello, Ben. Shut up. Oh yeah. So hello everyone. Today on this podcast we're going to be talking about money. The money. Bring me the money. Show me the money.
I wish I had money.
I wish I had money. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hello everyone. We are now doing a video as well. We're just giving this a try basically, and yeah. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of weird. I feel pressured. More pressure.
It's added pressure knowing that people can see me doing stupid shit as well.
Yeah, don't pick your nose this time, Ben. So, money. We had a short discussion about this in the car on the way over, about money versus happiness. Does money actually solve your problems? Is winning the lottery actually good for you? All that kind of bedazzle.
So we got plenty to talk about.
So we got plenty to talk about. And I don't know what we ended up talking about, but I remember it being quite long. So we did discuss a lot.
Got a little heated as well.
It did get a little bit.
It actually did get a little heated.
Yeah, I was worried about that. So Ben, money. Let's just start with this, shall we? What do you think? What's your thoughts on money?
In what way though? Like, what sections? Like, because
do you like money? Do you value how much do you value money?
Everyone has to value money in some way, shape, or form. I think it's very easy to turn around and say money means nothing to me. But the hardest thing is you need money for almost everything in life. I know it can't buy the material things like friendships and happiness, although you can technically buy friends if you want to, but it's not the same. But
what friends are you buying? By the way, Ben, you owe me some money. Oh, friendship.
Yeah, totally. But like to be able to do some of the most simplest things in life require money these days. Like I know, like you can go for a walk; it's free. Taking trips to the park, but let's just say, for example, you wanted to have a picnic in a park. You need to have money to be able to afford the simplest of things, to food, buying a football, a frisbee, just going out for a walk. You need to have, the simplest of things like clothes off your back. Money is so important because you need it for absolutely everything these days.
So would you say money is more of a tool to get what you want rather than valuing
to
money?
a degree, yeah. I mean, like you need money for pretty much everything in life, especially like, let's just say, for example, hobbies and interests. They can really stack up. Let's just say you were a fisherman. You need to buy all your rods and equipment. Let's just say you're a footballer. You needed your favourite team shirt, rackets for any sports that you play. If you're a designer or a painter, buying your local paint.
So you need, we get it. You need money.
You need money for everything.
For everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Especially nowadays. Yeah, I understand that. So, but, okay, so for example, we're both working class.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of money.
No.
We don't really know anyone who has a lot of money.
I wish.
Yeah, our situation, the crowds of people the few people that we hang around with don't have a lot of money. We all have enough to get by, to live our lives, but we all wish we had more. But
very true.
Is that one of those things where, no matter how rich you are, you always wish you had more? Or do you think there's a limit to that?
I think there is a I think it is quite relevant. I think it is quite relevant. I think for myself, it all depends on your ambition, your level of ambition. So like for myself, I'm always personally striving to go a little further in life. So I'm always looking at the next steps, even if it's just being creative. It's the same with money. At the moment, I have enough to get by on, and I'm quite comfortable. But it doesn't mean that I want to venture and do more, earn a little more to support myself, my family, my friends. Because if I was earning more, I can then look after them. So I'll always be looking at earning more. If I became a millionaire, I'd probably have more money than sense at that point. I wouldn't even know what to do with it.
I think that's generally the case. And I think before people have money, they always think, oh, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this with my money. And then when they get money, they lose all the brain cell that they had. And they end up buying what they want rather than what they need. And I do this. Everybody does it. They see that one thing and they go, oh, actually, I could do with a new phone. I could do with some new shoes. I could do with this. I could do with
living beyond your means.
Living beyond your means, yeah. And I think that's why nowadays people fall into bad habits. They get into things like loans and credit cards and stuff like that. And that leads on to this question, Ben. Should credit cards exist? Are they actually a good idea?
So I'm going to turn around and say straight away that I don't really think credit cards and loans should exist. It's a bit more of a controversial thought, I believe.
Wait. So before you get into that, what's the extent here? So let's say, for example, we're talking about something like a credit card. So I feel like on a spectrum, the credit card's on one end, loans, mortgages. They're all forms of borrowing money. What do you think about a mortgage?
I've had a mortgage. I can say that that was more stressful having it than anything, because you've got this thought that you've got to pay off finances for the next 30, 40 years before you can even sort of relax in life. So I'm not a massive believer in even in loans and mortgages anyway.
Okay, but then it could mean that somebody gets to buy their own house.
Yes,
and it might be the only way they'll ever be able to buy their own house.
Yeah, it is true, but I think it's just I don't like the idea of living beyond your means. Like, let's just say, for example, you want to plan for a holiday, you want to save up for a holiday. You can do the easy way and get a loan or a credit card with £2,000 on it. Sort out the holiday, go on the holiday with that money as you're spending money as well. But then when you get back, you've then got to pay it off. So even before you can plan for your next holiday, you're going to spend the next year, 2 years paying it off before you can enjoy that luxury. It's not, obviously, this is not how all of them go, because there are going to be circumstances in life where you've maybe had an accident and you need money to back you up until you can return to work. So there are times where having these sorts of finances are helpful. I think they're too casual. I think that's what I mean these days.
Okay, so you're thinking emergencies only type thing.
Yeah, I think we take advantage of them too much. Whereas if you go back a long time ago, people used to get them when they were in a dark situation and they needed help. Whereas now people just do it just to get a new car. Yeah. And they don't always need a new car.
No, well, most people don't need a new car. They just do it because they want a change, or they
just want an upgrade.
They want an upgrade, yeah. Like often people say, "Oh, my phone battery doesn't quite get me through the day anymore, so I need a new phone." It's like, but you don't know.
Your phone still works.
Your phone still works. Yeah,
it's the same with most things, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, unless it's an iPhone, then it only gets you through half the day anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
But yeah, everyone's talking about upgrades. They want the new thing. They want the. But is that because of the lifestyles we all now lead? I mean, back in the day, like you said, back in the day when people needed credit cards just for emergencies, that's because if they lost their job, they're done. They're on the streets. They have no choice. But nowadays, there's so many safety nets, and I know it's not great to get to that point, and it's kind of, in fact, horrible to even think about it. But realistically, let's say you and your missus, you both lost your jobs.
Yeah.
There's so many things in place that will help you. Yeah. Food banks for food. There's
very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Your bank would even help you out. Everyone actually goes out of their way to help you out, even if it's benefits or whatever, to help you stay afloat, because they don't want you to get to that point.
So to take a step back from that, there are people, though, or I should say companies more per se, that'll take advantage of your needy situation.
Yeah.
So for example, I'm going to point out Provident Loans. Okay. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of them. There is some other financial companies that are similar, but let's just say, for example, percentage of APR.
Oh, so you're talking about that? Okay.
So
okay.
People who are saying, like, we can help you, but they don't really help you. They are going to put you in a lot worse situation you are in less than a few months if you're not careful. If you can't keep up with their payments, you could be owing nearly triple what you paid.
So I remember this. I remember when there were adverts on TV all the time about things that were offering like 6,000% APR and all that, like day-to-day loans and stuff like that. Oh, you're only a couple of days away from payday. You might as well borrow 20 quid and then pay us back 100. That's fine.
Yeah, like, consolidate your loans and pay off 10 times more than what you're paying off. Yeah. And this is the thing. A lot of people sometimes misguided with money as well, because this is probably a little bit off of what we were getting on there. But I think people who are, what's the word, frugalent with money, throw their money around willy-nilly. They get it a lot from their family sometimes as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as well, if you live in, let's say you grew up in a household where you basically had everything, and then you try and be independent, and suddenly you're not getting everything that you wanted, or even you grew up very, very poor, and then you get a job, and suddenly you think, wow, now I actually have money.
I'm not used to having this luxury.
Yeah, I'm not used to having this. So suddenly you're going out of your way to get everything you've ever wanted. And I feel like for most people, it's more of a young person's game when it comes to stuff like that. When you're in your 20s, you've just moved out, you've got a job, things are more stable than they've ever been, you feel more secure to actually go and buy all this crap that you don't actually need, but you've wanted for a long time. Then suddenly when you get to like your late 20s, you get to a point where you think, I can't live the rest of my life like this. And so you make dramatic changes and you stop doing that. And I think that's usually how it is.
Is it a question of in the first few years, are you allowed to make those mistakes?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to get loans and all this stuff until you reach a certain age. Maybe they should make that age higher.
I don't even actually know. How old are you allowed to be before you can get a loan or get a credit card? Is it 16, 18?
Probably 18 or 21, I would have thought.
Right? I was going to say. But even then, are you classed as too young to understand money? Would you believe that someone at that age would be too young to understand what's...
Wait, let me think about this. So if it is 21, or 18 or 21, let's say it's 21.
Yeah.
It's 21 to basically get given a massive loan that you're probably going to be paying for the rest of your life. Let's say a mortgage, for example, that could be 40 years. And yet you got to be 25 to hire a van. So this just goes to show the trust here. It's when it's about people fooling young people to getting their money. It's, oh, God, fine, go for it, it's fine. Oh, wait, no, you might crash a car. No. Yeah. You've got to wait 4 more years.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It makes no
sense.
The fact
that you could financially ruin yourself and go into, say, for example, bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Because you make some bad decisions.
When you're young and stupid.
Whereas you can do other things willy-nilly, at a younger age.
Because you have to admit, like, nowadays, for example, I bet you're more cautious with money than you were, 5-10 years ago. Like, if I think about myself 5-10 years ago, I think, God, what a child. I think of myself last year, I think, God, what a child. But you know what I mean? 5-10 years ago. And I know I'll be saying this in 5 or 10 more years. Oh, God, look at that child. But that's just you learn so much, I think, especially in your 20s when you're suddenly...
You do learn
serious stuff.
You do learn where to focus your money and your interests. Because you notice that you're splitting it more. So, I mean, even myself growing up, I didn't really know what hobbies I liked. So I spent a lot of my money on games and just doing whatever I liked.
I can tell, Ben. I've seen your collection.
Whereas now, I don't really spend so much money. I sort of save it and scribble it away because I just don't know when the next big bill is going to come out. And that's one of the saddest things when you sort of get your own property in your own place. The bills. Because they soon add up.
Oh, yeah. Wait, so let's stay on credit cards though. So basically, we talked about extremes. We talked about extreme side of it, but we also have people often. Everyone I know who has a credit card. I've never had a credit card, and I know, for example, if you're American, and I'm sure there's other countries in the world that you need a credit card. You have to have a credit card. And I remember when I was traveling around, they'd often say to me, "Can I have your credit card details?" And I'd say, "Well, I don't have a credit card." And they just didn't seem to understand that concept because you need to have a credit card because somebody needs to have security. They need to know that you are legit. Whereas a bank would give you a debit card willy-nilly like it's fine. Okay. You could have nothing in your bank. But to get a credit card, you have to have a good credit rating, everything. You have to have the money to be able to pay it off. So people will take that information and trust that there's money on it. Rather than what we have over here in the UK, for example, if you go to pay for fuel, what they'll do is if it's like pay, you pay by card at the pump, pay at pump, usually it's called. What you do is you put your card in and it'll actually take 1 penny out of your bank as like a security measure to make sure that this is a legit account that actually has money in it. Because if that gets rejected, then you could be in bankruptcy, you could have zero money, you could be already in your overdraft, and it'll just say to the machine, you cannot use this. So it's a simple way to check to make sure you have £10, £20, £50, however much you're going to be putting into your car. So that's a simple way of doing that check, but most people can't do that. Obviously, we're moving into the zone of automated machines and things like that. They can check these things, but at least that's some way of doing it. But like, for example, in America, you need credit cards. So what I was getting at
over here, though, let's just say, for example,
credit rating is what I was getting at.
I was about to say, yeah, if you want to get a mortgage, you have to build up your credit rating. So most people would have a credit card. They probably wouldn't use it much.
This is it.
But they'll use that to build up. But that's another way of making simple mistakes and perhaps using the credit card before you know it, getting in debt as well.
So this is what I was going to ask you.
What's that?
Do you keep an eye on your credit score?
No.
Have you ever looked at your credit score?
No.
See,
but I had to have a credit score to get a mortgage.
And I've had a mortgage. So I had to get a credit score to get a mortgage. I've never seen my credit score. They checked my credit score and they said that it's fine, whatever that means. I have no interest in my credit score at all. And I feel like a lot of people, they go, oh, I need to build up my credit score. And I think, well, why? Apart from getting a loan or a mortgage, why? What's the point? What is the point of it?
I wish I understood the credit score
Maybe
more.
we're the wrong people to be asking these questions.
Yeah, I kind of wish I knew, but
I feel like it's not something that was invented here in the UK. It's not something that we use as much. It's just a way for people to say, okay, they're actually okay with money. Although I have one of my friends has a really bad credit score, and it's because he missed one bill one time that wasn't even his fault, apparently. I don't know the details of it, but according to him, it's not his fault. And it made his credit score so low that he couldn't even get the loan that he was trying to get. This was years later. He suddenly went, I need to actually check this. And he realized it was quite low. Yeah. So then he's had to build it back up again. And it's something as silly as that. I think he moved house and then they were trying to claim his water bill or something. And he tried to explain to them that he'd already paid it and moved, but there was some complications. But in the end, he didn't have to pay it. But his credit score went down because they apparently the water company is really bad with credit. They dump it straight on there. And anyway, who knows? But other than that sort of stuff, it doesn't seem to be a thing as far as I'm aware.
So believe it or not, I worked in a call center for a year, and we used to do loan broking. So we used to help people find finances. And
there's so much I don't know about you.
I only did it for a year. Okay. I can't say I particularly enjoyed the job, but a lot of the time, in order for them to get the loan, they'd have to have a credit check. And every time, let's just say, for example, you get towards the end of the process with the customer and there'd be a list and there'd be this big page and there'd be 8 or 10 lenders on there. And they'd start off with the best one at the top and then they'd work their way down. And the ones further down, so the further down you went, the lower the APR or the higher the APR in this case would be for them.
So the worse their credit score, the higher the APR. The more money they have to pay back. So it's a risk.
So they'd start at the top, try and get them the best one, but they'd have to meet the circumstances of each one. And every time it went through each lender, it'd get a credit check for each. You wouldn't get a credit check just once, but for every lender it went through. Okay. And believe it or not, if you have lots of checks done in your name in a short period of time, that affects your credit rating. Just even having people look at your credit score is bad.
I don't understand that. I know there's 2 ways of checking it. There's one which is non-invasive and it doesn't affect it, and there is one that does.
But I just think it's ridiculous that someone just looking at your credit score can affect it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It really discourages you from looking at it, but really it should be something that you need to look at if you're looking to get a mortgage.
You can be charged to look at your own credit score as well.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And that's just I just want to know how financially stable I am, and you're trying to charge me to find out.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I've tried to look at my credit score. I went on Clear Score or whatever the hell the thing is, and they were like, and I don't understand this. Some places do it. They say, "Oh, send us a picture of your passport." Well, I don't want to do that. I don't trust you. I got enough problems with Google trying to steal my information, or Facebook, let alone this random company that I know nothing about, saying send us a picture of your passport and your driver's license. It's like, what? Identity fraud is quite serious.
It is crazy how much people need to know about my personal life.
Yeah, I get the whole proving it's you and all that, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so credit cards. So basically, I think we're both in agreement on this. Credit cards, I think, obviously they're good for credit score.
Shouldn't be used as much as they are.
Maybe not for young people. I think young people shouldn't be allowed them. Yeah, I feel like when you get to a certain age, let's say, for example, something quite high. Let's say 30. Yeah. Once you get to 30, you're never going to learn. If you got to that point where you want to buy all this shit and you don't have the money for it, you're never going to learn at that point, are you?
But are you saying that if you were, let's just say, for example, you were in the government, you would try and get rules passed down so that only 25 and over could have a credit card?
No, I'm saying 30.
You'd really say 30?
I would say,
because I think you would cause a bit of a riptide.
Yeah, I would.
I personally, I do agree with you to an extent. I think 30 might be a little bit too old. Maybe I would go down to 25.
Maybe even 30 to get to the extreme stuff. I think
over a certain amount of thousands.
25, you can have a credit card. You're only allowed to owe so much, and it has to be 0% APR.
Yeah,
something like that. And then when you get to 30, it's like a free for all. You can get whatever the hell you want and spend as much as you want and get to as much debt as you want. But or maybe even ease it in, because I think a free for all might be bad because someone might just not realize and then go crazy one day and then get screwed. Whereas if they ease it up, maybe every year that you've had it, maybe that's it. Maybe it's more of you can have it from 21, but for the first year you're limited to so much, and then every year it goes up. Maybe that.
Possibly. I don't think it would end the world's problems though, because I think there's just too many people out there that would still make the simplest of mistakes because they're just.
Ben, we have stuff on bleach bowls saying "do not drink." I feel like there's always going to be idiots out there who's going to try something.
Yeah, I don't think we can sort of solve the world's problems in one go with that. I'm afraid.
No, definitely not. But moving on from credit cards, when we're talking about stuff like this, people get credit cards because they generally don't have enough money. They get loans, they get everything like that because they don't have enough money to buy themselves. So I'm sure someone would love to get to have that enough money to be able to buy a house rather than getting a mortgage, of course, because it will cost you way less money in the long run. But how much emergency funds should somebody have? So
it's an interesting question.
Yeah, I know starting out, when people first get jobs and stuff like that, they're very excited. They spend all their money. They're enjoying whatever, their independence, their new devices, whatever. Of course, we're talking about after this, when people are a bit more stable. What's a good amount? Because I feel like in the UK, it's probably going to be different from elsewhere. Because obviously we have the whole benefit system and lots of safety nets. Whereas if you live somewhere like, I don't know, picking somewhere out of a hat, America, United States of America, if you run out of money, you're done.
I think it should be a life lesson that a lot of parents should be introducing to their children in their teenage years. So I feel like a good life lesson to teach a child is mistakes are going to happen. Things are going to break. Things are going to happen.
Nobody's perfect.
And I think a lot of the time, I think in society, a lot of people don't have backup funds. I genuinely do think a high percentage of people don't have reserve money. They live to hand. They live
paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck, probably a good example.
So I was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
Because, I got into that habit of, well, there's things I want, especially when I bought my house. When I bought my house, I was at the point where I thought, well, any spare money I'm either going to put towards the mortgage, because the sooner you pay that off, the nicer life you have, or I'm going to upgrade my house. And I spent a long time decorating and redoing stuff and all of that, and it costs a lot of money. As you say, everything costs money.
Yeah.
So that's what all my spare money and spare time went on. So, but that's a hard one, because although that's not an emergency fund, technically, if I lost my job, I could sell my house. And so that's my emergency fund. Does that make sense? And I'm putting money into that. So there's different ways.
But let's just say, for example, your car went down. You can't use that money you put into the mortgage straight away. That'd take time to, let's just say, juggle around.
That's true. No, I get that. But I feel as if sometimes emergency funds mean more than that. For example,
they can be used for anything.
What if you say car? Look, because the main expenses are rent and your car. And then after that, it's like food and all the
household
bills,
appliances,
whatever. Yeah. So your cars are like a black hole for money because petrol and everything costs lots of money. So where I worked before, one of my colleagues lived literally like 2 roads away from me, and so we used to carpool. We used to do every other week. So I knew that if something went wrong with my car, I always had him to get to work. And then other than getting to work, I could bus anywhere else I needed to go to if I had to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the end of the world. And that's such a big thing. But I understand a lot of people rely on their cars. And I know you have recently been having car problems, and you rely on your car.
Yeah, totally.
And without your car and without emergency funds. So this is a great example, Ben. One of my friends, I can't remember his name, begins with a B. He has recently had car problems, yeah. And even today, right now, he's having issues with a car, and he's just put it into the garage and it's going to be fixed. He obviously needed emergency funds for this because he wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Emergency funds, Ben. What's your take on that?
I feel like I'm being called out right now. So I was going to say you definitely need to have emergency funds. That was kind of the point I was getting to. You have to have emergency funds.
I agree with that, but I'm saying there's lots of different types.
There is a lot of different types, but what I would say is
rich parents could be one.
Not all of us have parents. No. Have rich parents.
Have parents. Not all of us have parents. Look at Batman.
Wow, I sound like I was taking a dig at you there.
I've got parents. Jesus.
No, what I was trying to say is you need to sort of figure out your own shit, basically. Yeah, so
a good life motto there.
So for myself, my car, I know it could go kaput any time. I'm not going to have a saving fund just for a brand new car or a brand new second-hand car, for example. But I'm going to have enough funds to repair said car. So let's just say, for example, an ideal situation with someone who owns a car is having maybe up to £500 there and then to fix something that could be quite small, quite big.
That's true.
Say, for example, if your car's going in for an MOT and you know that something's going to fail, you've got that little extra cushion so that it's there to use and fill back up when that's gone up the chute. It's the same with household appliances as well. If you've got something, say
washing machine and stuff.
Washing machine. Let's just say your fridge breaks down, your oven is not working anymore, TV breaks. I would say having a couple hundred extra pounds on top of your car bill, if you owned a car, on top of that. Let's just say, for example, as well, there's going to be times where you might have to call in sick to work because you've broken your ankle and you can't drive, broken your arm so you can't, I don't know, stack a shelf or do something that requires your hand. You'd then be off. So having maybe 2 weeks' wages there. I'm not saying you have to have all these things. You can have as much money as you like. You can do whatever you want. I don't know. You do it however you need to. Look, but for me, I would
have a cushion to fall back on, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you need to have a backup plan.
I understand that, but my question here, I want to ask you, this money, this backup money for you, is this the same as your holiday fund? Or is this a different fund?
So I've got quite a few different saving funds.
Okay,
if that's what you want.
So you're being very smart about this.
Yes.
So that's good. So instead of having one, in fact, yeah, I've heard from your partner that you're actually pretty good with money. Now, I think she said annoyingly good with money.
Okay, so I might as well. I'll go down this route. Okay, that's absolutely fine. I have 4 accounts with the same bank. So I have my standard bank account, which all of my finances go into, and I can decide how to disperse it and where to. Second one is a shared bank account. That's where all of the bills come out. So both of our money goes straight into that account. That money is then dispersed off to where it needs to go, but we both pay exactly the same amount. So there's no arguing, and we don't touch that at all for nothing else.
That's pretty good.
Sensible little account.
Yeah.
We've done that for now 2 years together. Not a single problem. Third account is a holiday account, and that is saving up for, so for example, we went on holiday together recently. Money what we went on holiday with was from that account from mine, and that money was originally saved for Tokyo, which we didn't go to. So that money was already pre-saved. Yes. And then the final account is where everything sits. And then providing I'm not having a difficult month, I might borrow 20, 30, 50 quid. Something goes wrong with my car, I might borrow 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds. But it's there. It's there if I needed to borrow it. I don't use it very often.
Okay, so not only is that emergency fund, it's leisure fund, it's everything else fund, basically.
Yeah, it's basically, I like to think I've got some sort of plan for most things. The thing that scares me though is, like, let's just say, for example, you want to get married. They say the average cost of a wedding is about £18,000. Obviously, you borrow money from your parents. You might not always have. They might not be financially strong enough to help you out to live your dream. But on top of your wedding, getting a mortgage, you have to put a deposit down. Deposit is what, 5% minimum. And if you're looking at nearly a 200 grand house, £10,000. Who has £10,000 sitting in their bank account? And I mean, I'll be going off subject a little bit there if I keep going into the details about mortgages and stuff like that. Yeah. But having that backup finances actually, I think it helps the mind a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Anything to help reduce stress and live a nicer life. I agree. I totally agree with that. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's stressful. It's hard. I know I've done that. You know, especially when you and your partner, you're like, oh, I really want to go out with my friends. My friends are going out for drinks. And you're literally like, well,
we can't afford this, so we can't do it.
We literally can't, unless you want to start selling stuff.
And I think that's the hard part, because I say it like it's easy, but it's because I plan ahead. So for myself, I don't even work full time, but I'm still able to save money because I know when to go out and when not to. Yeah. But what about people who work less hours than I do because they can't get hours at work? What about people who are having these things happen to them? You know, it's not the same for everyone.
How often does that happen though? For you, for example?
What, things going wrong?
Yeah. When's the last time, other than your car, when's the last time something went so wrong that you had to dip into your... So
the last time something went wrong was the TV. TV died on me at a random time, just for no reason, just stopped working. I think I put £300 in for a new TV, and I had to withdraw about 100, I think, out of the reserve account.
You don't need a TV.
Well, for me personally, it's my hobby, because I play a lot of games. Yeah. So for me, to enjoy my hobby, I wanted a TV.
Okay, so that seems less of an emergency, more of a my enjoyment. It's like if you couldn't play football one week.
Yeah. Also, I actually did use the account because I like, for example, paying for my car insurance. I will buy it out for the whole year instead of paying for it monthly. So I can then. That's good. So when I'm spending monthly, I know exactly how much money I've got per month, and going, oh, I need to pay £10 or £20 towards that every month.
Well, that's what I do, because it's you pay less money, and
so I'd happily use the withdrawal, like my reserve funds, to pay for that.
Okay, so I get you. You. So you're basically you're pretty smart then.
I'm not smart, but I know how to look after my money, so I can look after myself.
That's good. So basically, everything you're doing is to have less stress. That's what it seems like.
It's a difficult one because if I go back to my family, they were a lot worse off than I am now. Growing up, my parents didn't have a lot. Like, I don't know your situation fully either.
Very poor.
But yeah, I didn't have the finer things in life. And when I first started work, I saw that tax deduction on my wage. I did cry a little bit. But I immediately knew I wanted to sort of be a bit more sensible with money. Like, even going to college, when they used to give me emergency maintenance allowance, I didn't spend it. I'd save it up and nestle it away.
EMA?
Yeah.
I got EMA. I used to use it on my driving lessons.
Really? Yeah. I didn't drive at that point.
I didn't drive at that point. But I did a few lessons.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I got EMA as well, so obviously a poor family too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. When you live with a poor family, and suddenly you're out and you're actually earning money for yourself, you just suddenly your life changes. You end up. I ended up overspending. I never. So, for example, my first motorbike, I knew one day I had a mortgage, I had a house, I had everything I wanted, but I really wanted a motorbike. I really wanted to do my motorbike lessons. Get a motorbike. I wanted to do that for years, and so I went and got a loan. Got a loan, lowest APR I could find. It was actually pretty decent for what it was. Got that, did it all, got a bike, got it all, and you know what? I don't regret that. I felt kind of crappy about it because it was another expense to pay every month, which I hated because I'm very much the type of person to have as little as humanly possible. Nowadays, even my phone is pay as you go. I bought the phone outright, and I pay as you go. And I top it up like £10 every 3 or 4 months. Because I use data occasionally, but everywhere has Wi-Fi. Never text anyone or call anyone.
I suppose it depends on how much you use it, really, doesn't it? If you're not using it that much.
I use it a lot at home. I use it a lot when I'm at my friends. Fair. But I'm not in the middle of nowhere most of the time. Even around the Norwich city centre, which is our closest city, it has free Wi-Fi. Not that I end up going there very often, but it's got free Wi-Fi.
Fair enough.
So there's things there where you can compromise. Like, I would love to have like a data plan and never need to worry about topping up. And it is annoying sometimes when I'm out and about and I go, oh, that message didn't go through. And then I realise I've run out of credit. It seems like such an old-fashioned thing. And the comfort there, I'd love to pay for a bit more comfort. But you know what? It's worth it. Okay. It saves me lots of money.
So I can
little things like that.
I can say this. So like having a phone contract is quite interesting because for me, I have a phone contract. I'm locked into a 2-year contract. I'm now in my first year, and I pay about £33 a month. It's an iPhone 10 SE or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's a fairly up to date phone. It's about a year and a half, 2 years old. It's not too bad. My other half recently got one of the newer models. And she is probably paying about £70 a month. Compared, it might be a tiny bit lower. It might be in the 60s. I do apologise if I got that wrong at home. But I only pay £33 a month. I'm paying half what she pays. So which one of us is living luxury?
Me. £10 like every 3 months, Ben.
But what I'm saying is, which one of us is living too far beyond our means?
Yeah, that's true.
Because she's earning more than I am. So she can have that luxury if she wants it.
But is it a luxury? I mean, does your phone do much more than what her phone does?
For me personally, for what I need it for, mine's fine.
Yeah.
She's happy with what she got. So she's never complaining about the cost of how much it costs per month. But again, is that living beyond your means?
True. And I think that is a comfort thing. I think a lot of this, when it comes to money versus happiness, we're talking about comfort. It's really, you can live off probably the bare minimum, because you could live in, let's say, a caravan or something like that, living off a lot of food that you grow yourself and all of this, living really very, very little every month. no contract, or not even a phone. Realistically, how often do you need? Do you need a phone with a contract? You could just have Wi-Fi, or even there's ways to do things where you can
get a
very...
cordless telephone at home.
Oh God! But what I'm saying is, you could live off very, very little if you felt comfortable like that.
Yeah.
Whereas people pay for luxuries. People pay to be able to get home from work and zone out and not have to think, rather than going, right, I'm home from work. I need to water these plants so I can eat for the next few days. I need to think about all this stuff. And oh look, my bin men don't come collect my bin because I don't pay council tax. I need to go take my bin to my rubbish to the dump, like that kind of stuff. You could do that. Yeah. You could. It wouldn't be that nice for people like us who are used to heat and comfort. Yeah. But it is possible, and that makes me think about like living by your means, like you said. Even if let's say I was earning a lot of money every month, enough to be very comfortable. Yeah. I would get a contract. I would, but I probably wouldn't want to spend more than like £10 a month because I don't feel the need of it. I would still buy the phone outright because it's still a much better deal. And this is the thing as well. I think my sister, for example, she buys, I think her phone is like, £70 a month. She's got like one of the latest iPhones. And she often says to me, oh, it's a really good deal. And I go, okay, let's sit down and calculate this. And I calculate it. And I said, so this phone has cost you £2,000. If you buy the phone outright, it's only £1,000 or less than that. So realistically, is it a good deal? She goes, yeah, because I'm paying this much. I go, okay, yeah, but if you did what I did and you only spend £10 every 3 months, over 2 years, you're not going to be spending a lot of money. So I'm just saying there's ways around things.
But it's also being smart with money as well.
Yeah, but it's not only about being smart with money, it's about being smart in general. A lot of people see a loan or see this and they go,
see a deal that's too good to be true, because it is.
Yeah, I'm only paying back this much a month. That's nothing. It's like, yeah, but you're doing that for the rest of your life. Like, that's a lot. Like, we were talking, one of our friends recently, they bought a house. They got a mortgage and bought a house. And I was saying to them, you're going to be paying this off for the next 35 years. When you're done with this, you're going to be like 65. That's a lot. That's a long time. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, but everybody does it. It's like, yeah, but is it still a good idea?
Do you want to?
Yeah. So, well, we have to pay rent then. So, okay, I understand that. I get that rent sucks and everything as well. But there's still ways to do things. And I just think that, I know the whole country's gone this way, and this is why everyone's saying that it's basically impossible to get a house nowadays. But it seems insane to me now. Absolutely insane. I don't like it. I don't like it. Back when I got a mortgage, mine was 20 years. I hated that. Yeah. Now, if I went to get one now, it'd probably be 35 to 40 years.
My father's still in the middle of a mortgage. He's been told if he wants to pay it off, he's going to go past his retirement. He's going to be 77 before he finishes paying it off.
What?
Yeah.
No.
But he is so adamant that he wants to carry on, so he wants to pay it off. And it's like, are you really thinking of the bigger picture? But you can't tell him.
I just don't get it.
Sort of let him do his thing.
I just don't understand why. It's insane. People always talk about loans and stuff. So, would you get a loan that you're borrowing for 35 years? Hell no. Of course I wouldn't. What sort of mortgage is? Yeah. It's the same thing. I just don't understand it. It just seems insane to me now. And I talked to my grandparents and they're like, oh yeah, this house cost me £2,000. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh yeah, I'd save up a few months for that. Oh, did you? Sorry. That was so bad for you. Instead of 35 years.
But you could say that, going on with that, how that cost him £2,000, going back all them years ago.
Yeah, but he said he had to save up only for a few months to be able to buy it.
Well, this is the point I'm getting to. Nowadays, let's just say, for example, we earn, £9-10 an hour. Minimum wage is about £9.30, I think, at the moment.
I have no idea.
So it's about £9.30. If you now look at how much it costs for a house, the average house is about £150,000 to £180,000 if you're outside of London.
Yeah,
outside of London.
Well, realistically, outside of most places now, Norfolk in general is still very cheap for where it is. So we're starting to get more expensive, but
so to think
over here, houses are very cheap compared to anywhere else, pretty much.
And then your average monthly income is going to be £1,100, £200, maybe before tax for some people as well. So that alone, you would have to work for at least 15, 20 years if you were just paying purely for that out of your £1,100 without any other outcome, without a bill. So that's insane how that cost a few months, way back when, as to how much it costs now, because the rate of inflation, which is another interesting thing.
Well, inflation plus house prices, because the rich buy the houses and rent them out, and then no one ever gets the share.
But it's also the same on everything, like buying a chocolate bar, how much the price of chocolate, because sweets, anything with sugar in it is taxed higher now.
That's true.
Everything costs a lot more, whereas the rate of living, the cost of your living wage, is still so incredibly low compared to how much everything else is still rising around us.
But that's not just the UK as well. It's like most of the world.
Yeah.
Which seems insane. I'm like, how have we got this so wrong? Surely, and this is something I didn't understand as well. So, so around the world, what something I don't understand is, I remember when I had my job before, the amount I got paid went up every year. I wasn't on minimum wage, not by any means. I was earning quite a lot, but it still went up every year. And I know minimum wage goes up every year, but some people's jobs don't go up every year. And I just think, so that means technically every year you're getting paid less because everything else is going up.
Yeah.
Everything you buy, your rent and all this stuff, that can all change as well. The amount of tax you pay, and yet you're not getting paid anymore. It's like the worst deal. And yet people still do that.
Most people don't have a choice.
I know they don't have a choice. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad for the people. It's bad for the companies. How the hell could they do that? It makes no sense.
I think for some companies, not all companies, but some companies can't afford to increase wages because of the circumstances they're put in themselves by the government and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But there are some greedy people out there that would rather give bonuses to their bosses or the higher uppers.
Mm. But do you know you get taxed on your bonuses as well?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
A lot of,
because I do as well.
Yeah, a lot of places get taxed 40%. When I got a bonus before my old job, I got taxed 40% on it. 40% on a bonus that I went out of my way to do extra work to get, and I lost 40% of it. That's that. After that point, I remember just thinking, well, what's the point?
I found out Tesco had been mispaying me. So this is going back a few years ago now. This is going back, must be about 6 years ago. So they work out from the minute you clock in to the minute you leave, anything that happens in your life, any circumstances. I found out that they owed me a great deal of money. So they said minimum payout for people range from £5 upwards. Everyone got a payout. In my store, at least 3 people got £5. I got £2,800 before tax.
Wow.
But tax came in and they took like nearly £400, £300 or £400 straight away before I'd even been given back this apology. But like, it was crazy. You know, how they go, all right, well, you got this money back. And then they go, yoink, I'm going to have some of that back. Thank you.
I hate it. And I'm not saying that like the country's greedy or anything, but the country's a bit greedy, isn't it?
Just
the government. And the fact that like, I know it's all going to crap because, you know, the billionaires who don't want to pay tax find a way to go around it and don't pay tax. And that affects us because now suddenly like £1 billion in tax isn't, or even a few million to £1 billion pounds in tax haven't been claimed. The government are going, well, we're the ones missing out, so that means we're not going to fix your roads, we're not going to fix this, we're going to find cheaper materials to do this, and then they mess things up, make it worse, and then they have to keep repairing it and all this crap, and it just makes the country such a crappy place. Oh, this park, no, we can't put climbing frame on it, it's too expensive. So, well, if we had this £1 billion that these people were meant to be paying, then everyone would have more money. The NHS wouldn't struggle. Oh, I don't want to get into this rant.
We're going to get into
this bad rant then.
Yeah, we might have to be a bit careful because you also get the government when they buy expensive oil paintings as luxuries for around the building, but then don't fill potholes, for example, on certain roads.
Yeah. Well, let's not.
But that's probably less to do with money.
I feel like buying an oil painting versus £1 billion is very different.
Yeah, but you get the idea.
So let's move on, Ben. So we have a few things down here. So what I was going to say, so we've kind of answered most of these, but I was going to get onto going cashless. So nowadays, everything's usually paid by card. Not only card, we're talking about contactless. Like you can go contactless for. What is it on iPhones now? Is that unlimited? I think it's unlimited.
I think it's £250.
£250 is like more than you usually spend for anything.
Yeah.
So, and I know in America, sorry if you live in America, they don't have contactless. They have Apple Pay, but it's nothing else. Yeah. They have that or their card, but the cards don't have contactless on them. So in the UK, we basically pay with everything, pretty much everything with contactless because it's £45 now.
Well, that is going up.
Is it?
Some, not everywhere, but most places are now going up to £100.
Because it was 30.
It was 30.
Then COVID happened, so they put it up to 45, so people wouldn't have to touch stuff.
It's now going up again to 100. Some places are already doing it. Not everywhere is doing it yet, but a lot of places are now changing that. £100.
That's a lot.
Is quite scary when you think about it, because a lot of people I speak to, they turn around and say, "Oh, that's great," but there's also a part
someone steals it
where they turn around and go, "But what if I lost my card?" Like, obviously, you can track and trace your money back in a way, and
I think that's the thing. I think if someone's going to steal your card, it's not your problem. If someone steals your card and starts spending hundreds of pounds, you call your bank up and say, "Someone stole my card." Most of the time, they'll trace it and they'll get the money back, and it'll be simple as that. And
but the problem is the stress of it all.
It is stressful. I understand that, but I think the amount of money isn't an issue. When you've lost your card, you should call your bank as quick as humanly possible to say, "I have lost my card," and then they'll sort it out from there. I know a few people who have lost their cards, or even been tricked into giving people money or their bank details, and they get their money back.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's obviously stressful for the banks, but that's just what they have to deal with. And this is what I was saying before about credit cards and stuff. I know the banks are now taking on a lot of not blame, but responsibility in this case. But we have so much security when it comes to like thieves, which is really nice.
So taking it a step back to the original question.
Yeah.
Do you think we should go cashless?
I already am cashless. I do not have a wallet. I have my phone. And my phone has a case around it because I'm quite protective because I bought this. I don't pay monthly. And it has my cards in it. All my cards are in my phone case. So
if you're wondering what his PIN number is.
Hey, So, how would you know that? Yeah, I have it written down right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So I already am cashless. I literally carry no cash. I have no wallet. I don't have anything.
So
I just have all the cards.
Are you saying cash has no use in the public world right now?
I feel like cash has a good amount of use when it comes to avoiding taxes and to help the homeless and smaller companies that don't want to pay the Visa bill or MasterCard.
What about friends and family who, say, for example, don't use cashless?
Like who? Like your grandparents?
Let's just say, for example, I played football.
Yeah.
And I organise football and people come and play. Sometimes they can't set up their app on their phone or they haven't got it ready, but they've got cash in hand.
Set it up on your phone. If you had to.
If
there was no cash at all anymore, everyone would have it set up on their phone. I feel like the only people who wouldn't would be elderly people who struggle with it. And I understand that because it is complicated. But I feel like what we were saying earlier about the idea that your bank kind of recovers you if someone tries to steal stuff, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just send them the money.
I must admit, with the way things are going, a lot more people don't really have wallets anymore because they normally just have their phone. Because your phone pretty much gets used for everything. I mean, for example, getting tickets to enter. Like, you remember when you used to go to a gig and you'd have a ticket printed out? You don't really have that no more because you have a barcode on your phone.
Yeah.
And it's the same with when you're paying for stuff as well. If you go to a festival, most of the time people just use their phone to pay for stuff. They won't have their wallet on them anymore.
And this is something. So if we're talking about completely cashless and ticketless and everything's digital rather than printed out, that's obviously a good thing because it saves trees and everything like that. But this is going to be surprising. So, if you get the train, you can get all tickets on your phone now.
Yeah.
But some stops you stop at, because you have to have your ticket to get off the train, to get out at the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of places. They don't have a digital thing. They don't have a digital place for you to scan your code to get out.
Yeah.
So you have to get printed tickets. And I know this because when I go see my girlfriend, I always have to get printed tickets because the station near hers doesn't have a thing.
There are examples.
It's annoying.
There's examples then of places that are not quite ready to be quite fully.
All they'd have to do is add one machine. Come on.
Well, yeah, but the cost of that would still be quite expensive. So they're perhaps not ready yet.
Maybe.
But I don't know. So going back, I am half and half. I do like the idea of going cashless in a way. And
convenience. That's why. It's for convenience.
But let's just say, for example, you forget your PIN number. Or you forget your
card. Ben, you got £100 now without your PIN.
But let's just say, for example, so working in a shop, if a customer comes to my till and their thumb ID doesn't work, or their face ID doesn't work, or they just can't get the app to open up, or they're having some sort of issues where it won't accept their phone and their card for some reason doesn't work. If they've got cash in their pocket, even if it's a couple of pounds, that can pay for the groceries.
How often does that happen?
More often than you think, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it does happen.
Well, they need to sort out their shit.
The thing is, though,
this doesn't happen to a normal person very often.
So if you go into a shop and you use contactless, let's just say, for example, 10 times in the course of a day or two, eventually your card is going to get declined.
Yeah, it'll make you use your PIN.
To make you use your PIN.
Yeah.
What if you haven't used it for a while, or you can't remember it?
Then you use your phone.
What if you don't have your phone on you because you left it in the car? What if?
Well, then you go outside to get your phone.
But it's an inconvenience. So a lot of people may.
So's carrying cash.
It's not that inconvenient. It's not that inconvenient because it can be useful for anything. Tipping.
Okay. So I understand this. I understand tipping is definitely one that I understand more, because this is what we were talking about in the car. So one, if you tip with cash, it doesn't get taxed, as Ben was saying. And it's very useful because when you tip someone, the idea of tipping them is to give them a bit of extra money because they've given you quality service. So this is in the UK. In the UK, waiters and waitresses, they get paid a living wage. They get paid at least minimum wage. So they do not rely on tips. Tips is an extra for them. So if they provide a really good service, we're inclined to give them more money. But since things have been going cashless, they literally will add the tip to the bill. So it'll say like 12.5% added to the bottom of your bill. And you can ask them to remove this. But if someone's given you a really crappy service and then they pull up with the bill, you know how awkward it is to say to them, you've given me crap service, remove this
tip.
When
you're British.
When you're British, especially, when you want to avoid talking to anyone. And this is the example I was giving Ben. I went out for lunch a few days ago and they added it to the tip. I literally spent less than £10. Went out and they added a bill to the tip. I saw the waitress once. And I just thought to myself, well, she seems like a nice person, but why the hell would I be tipping this? There was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. It was 12.5% as well. Like I might, when I was finished paying, this is the thing. If I had cash on me, when we were finished, I might have left a little bit, just an extra something.
Your choice.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been a lot. It would just been, if I had some extra change, it would have been like, that's fine, I'm getting rid of my change. Something like a quid or two, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But that was my choice. But yeah, forcing me to pay 12.5% for this very light lunch that I had, and I didn't even get a drink. Like, what was the point? I hated it.
So going back to something you said in the car journey earlier on,
yes.
You were saying about the idea that perhaps you should be given the option on whether you would like to tip via the card machine.
Agreed. So some places do this. They don't add the tip to the bill. They give you the card machine, and it would say, "Would you like to add a tip?"
I think that's quite a sensible idea.
That's brilliant. I know. And the trouble is, though, nowadays, if everyone's playing contactless, you can't do that because you just go beep and then it's done.
Okay, here's
so that's awkward.
One more idea as well with the idea of cash, for example, is people who are homeless, people who are on the streets who are going, "Have you got any spare change?" They're not exactly going to say, "Have you got a spare card reader I can use?" Or,
so
I know that
I understand this, and I understand it's an issue, and I think Mighty Boosh did like a sketch where the guy was like, "Oh, I do actually." He pulls out a card reader, and the guy literally transfers him some money, and it's all the silly thing. But I think it's HSBC in the UK have opened up a bank account where you don't need to have a home address, so homeless people can have a bank account now.
Okay.
I don't know what the details are. From when I last read about it, it was months ago, and it was like a very, very new idea that just like become a thing. But they're not exactly going to have a reader that you can go beep, couldn't it? So I understand that. I understand that it's more difficult for them, but realistically, in a society where there's no cash anymore, so homeless people can't be given any cash, should we be having homeless people? And I've watched some stuff about homeless people, and a lot of them choose to be homeless because they don't want to be in the system. They don't want to have to pay for this X, Y, and Z. And they sell big issues or whatever they can do just to be able to survive. But they choose to be homeless. What do you think when you go on the streets during winter, you hardly see any homeless people because they have somewhere to go during the winter. But then in the summer, they prefer not to be They prefer to have their own little thing.
Yeah.
Which seems insane to us, but I also understand that. Since I went traveling around and I lived off very little money, I sometimes think,
a feeling of freedom.
Yeah, the feeling of freedom, not being stuck with, having to pay all the bills and stuff. I understand that.
But just imagine them not being able to ask for spare change to people because that doesn't exist in the system anymore. I mean,
that'd be really nice.
Speaking from someone who lives in Norwich, where I get asked for spare change 3 times in a simple walk down one road, it can be quite like. I do feel for them. I do feel for their situation, but I don't always agree that they are living in difficult circumstances. Sometimes it's a difficult one.
It is, yeah. Ben, okay. Sorry. How often do you give them money?
Don't.
No, I knew you were going to say never.
I don't. So I have given food to people, but I gave it to people who weren't asking me. This is a bit more of a difficult one, but I can tell people who need it to people who just want to use it for other means, for people who I don't think might be struggling as much.
Yes.
There's so many circumstances, but we might be getting a little off topic if I go too.
I know, I get that. And also, technically, it's illegal to beg in the UK, and someone asking you for change is begging technically. So that is bad. But I understand that, and I know it's a difficult scenario, and it's a delicate
It's a difficult one to go into too much detail without causing trouble.
Yes, and but what I was getting at is I don't tip. If anyone ever asked me, I've got no excuse for it.
So
I just don't.
Final verdict then.
Yep.
Going cashless.
I am for it because of convenience, but I understand that it will mean that the common person will lose money because of tipping and stuff like that. Because if you tip, it costs you. If you tip via card, they get 20%. But again, I don't carry cash anyway, so I would have tipped via card, so they would have got 20% of that money anyway. So there's nothing I could have done about that.
So I'm going to agree, but I'm going to say in a time scale. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say in the next 20 years.
20 years.
So 20 years. Nice and gradual process, because I think everything takes time. It takes a lot longer than you think it will.
Yeah.
I think that gives time for the system to evolve.
That's
so
a long time, though.
it is a long time, but not everything happens as quickly as you think. I mean, technology is advancing quickly, but the process of things that are happening around it do take a bit longer. So I do think that even for homeless people, cash may not be the only thing that changes. Same with tipping. A lot of people are tipping by card anyway. Yeah. So it is evolving, but I think going completely cashless, I don't think it's going to happen in the next 20 years.
So I think I actually agree with this. I feel like cash will phase out very slowly, but I think what's going to happen is over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a big jump, but it won't go. And then we'll spend about 10 years probably just getting the final things out. Because, for example, we went to that fun fair recently, the fireworks night. Nowhere took card.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems crazy, doesn't it? Especially during the time of COVID. Everywhere takes cash, which is much easier to spread viruses and all that stuff as well. So you think, well, this is not good, but I understand for tax reasons, they weren't taking card. Also, we were kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it might not have had as much signal. But
very true.
That's also another thing, signal. That might be a problem.
Well, everywhere is getting 3G, 4G, and 5G.
You need electricity. What if you're a simple guy, like, let's say you lived in a fucking, I don't know, almost a desert, and you had camel rides. You're not going to have like electricity, let alone a card reader.
Very true. So it may be just certain cities and countries would progress further.
Yeah, I feel as if maybe it's more of a it will happen eventually.
Time will
but
progress.
It'll probably
time
never. It'll even take a very long time to go completely cashless.
So I'm going to say for England or the UK then for that one.
Yeah, for the UK, probably in 20 years. I reckon you're right. I reckon it's going to phase out dramatically over the next 10 years probably, and then after that, it's going to be trickling.
I can already hear comments from people saying, "God, we use it a lot less now." So I already know it's happening, but it's not happening quickly. It's slow. It's a slow process.
That's true. And I remember when the money changed. And I suddenly realised I hadn't seen a £20 note in a while because I just don't carry cash on me. No, we forgot a game. Damn it. Oh, I really enjoyed the Snog Marry Avoid, Ben. Okay, Ben. Okay, let's just do a really quick one, okay? And now it's game time. Oh god, I forgot they could see
All
me.
the lights are going down.
It probably looked really bad. So we forgot a game this week, so we're going to make one up. So we're doing Would You Rather.
Are these money related? Would you?
These have got to be money related. Would you rather, Ben?
Okay.
And obviously we've thought of these beforehand.
I haven't thought of anything. I don't even know what your first question.
I'm trying to be professional. I ain't even got a question. Okay, Ben. Since we're talking about money versus happiness, if I said to you right now, I am a genie, yeah, and so I can do anything. Those be my rules, and I'm going to say to you, would you rather be happy? So every day you wake up and you're happy,
okay,
yeah? Or £10 million,
just
right now,
instant 10 million.
In cash, there you go. No taxes.
Oh, in cash.
In cash.
In cash.
You got £10 million in cash.
Not everyone takes cash these days. I'd have to go and take it to my local bank.
Okay, maybe I'm a genie. So let's just say £10 million after tax in your bank account right now.
Okay. It's interesting because that's the debate. Does money bring you happiness? I'm
literally offering you happiness, but you'll be as poor as you are right now.
Question: would people know that I'm rich afterwards?
No.
No.
It's up to you. But that's what's something we didn't discuss, but that's the problem, isn't it?
I think with that, if there was
I think people will start to notice.
if there was an anonymity, if I can say that right, to it all.
No, there's no magic involved. Once you get the £10 million, it's your choice. Well, if you suddenly turned up with a Ferrari, I think we might work out that you're probably a bit rich, Ben.
But do you think I'm going to turn around and start showing off my money?
I think
personally, as a friend, would you think I'd do that?
So this is the thing. Not judging it on you, but I think initially you would start off very subtle and be fine with it. You'd quit your job and all that stuff, and you just live, happily without people noticing. But I think eventually you're going to be like, oh my god, I've got £10 million, 100 million, however much it is. A lot of money is what we're talking about here. You're going to be like, why the fuck aren't I enjoying my life?
It's interesting. I think
that's weird. Ben's offered to go on holiday to buy us all, pay for us all. What the hell's happened here? Where'd you get this money from? Oh, you could lie.
Inheritance.
I inherited it. Yeah, but Ben, didn't you inherit? Didn't you inherit it last week? Yeah. What about the holiday we went on? People are going to notice. They will eventually.
But it'd be the people I want to notice.
I know, but can you imagine this? Can you imagine all of your friends realised that you had basically an unlimited amount of money?
Yeah. I do get that, but
they're going to start treating you differently.
I feel
remember, Ben, we're good friends, aren't we?
I do feel like I'd have a lot less weight on my shoulders with the financial freedom, because I feel like the chains around your neck, for example, with the finances, just knowing that I could plan and do what I like a little easier.
But I think you would lose these stresses, but you would gain other stresses.
Oh yeah, there would be other stresses I do think involved.
Yeah.
But as for the happiness thing, I'd be curious as to how it would work. If I just woke up happy, even though I felt like garbage, but because of this magical illusion that's been part of me, I'm like, my partner died today, I broke my leg, but I'm so happy.
Hey, at least you'd be happy.
Yeah, but it would make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, but you could have £1 billion and be unhappy.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I've lost all my friends because they kept arguing that because I gave Jamie £1 million because he's my bestest friend ever, but Dylan wanted £1 million too, and I was like, nah, fuck off. And then suddenly, no one's my friend anymore.
Okay.
Not even Jamie, because he took the £1 million and left.
I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna take the money.
Oh,
I'm gonna do that.
Money versus happiness.
So, would you take the money or would you take the happiness?
Oh, I'll take the money.
There we go.
I'm already pretty happy, I have to say. The only thing I think I'm lacking is money. But then everyone says that, and that's the problem. I think that is the problem with the world, is that no matter where you are, if you're happy or unhappy, people want more money because you think money's going to solve all your problems. And money won't solve your problems, but it will make your life easier if you have none of it or little of it. And I think we'd all agree on that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's probably going to sum it up. I know this was meant to be a game, but I think that sums it up really well. Money versus happiness. We chose money.
That's so bad.
That's so bad.
That is so bad.
It's so bad. But yeah, there you go, guys. I think, like I said, this sums it up. We would rather have money than be happy because apparently we think money buys happiness.
Money influences everything.
Even though we were literally offered actual happiness forever, we still wanted money because money will make us more happy.
I would just have so much fun going out in a yacht or something like that and just jumping off the side of it every week. Then knowing that I'm now about to go past a sinkhole on the side of the road and get splashed by the bus going past.
You know what I think I would do, actually? If I got, let's say, an unlimited amount of money, I would buy advertisements for my YouTube channel Yeah, enough that it looked like I generated a lot of money, so my friends wouldn't wonder where my money came from. And then what I'd do is I'd start paying them, employ them to be in my videos and just make stupid...
Pretending to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Stupid videos, even with crap acting, whatever,
He's
because they're my
secretly
friends.
paying me to be here today.
Yeah, right, if I could, Ben. And then that way, I'd get to basically rule their lives, because it would be really funny, because I'd get them to do whatever the hell
You
I
make
want.
it sound like a puppet master with your hands there.
And then...
Just making them go up and pretending to dance around.
I would. I so would. I even said this to my family. I said, if I won the lottery, what I would do is I called them quests. I would send them on quests. I wouldn't just give them money. I'd say, right, you get £10,000 when you complete this quest. And it would be a quest that I would set, which would either be very entertaining for me. I could even record all of it. It would be great. Entertaining for me, or help them. Like, for example, my brother, he doesn't like going abroad. He has a weird, he just doesn't like it. He finds it funny. He's not really been abroad. In fact, I don't think he's ever been abroad. No, he's never been abroad. So this is why he's really nervous about it. So I would make a quest where he had to go abroad for a week. That's this kind of thing, and I'll pay him for it. And you know what? Money is a good incentive. As we talked about, we just sold our own happiness, Ben, for £10 million.
Yeah, we did. And I actually kind of thought of another would you rather.
Oh, go on then. Go on then.
Okay, I've got a nice simple one. Would you rather have all your bills paid for you, every single penny of your bills for the next 20 years, or £500,000?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not
20 years.
For 20 years. So this will be, let's just say, for example, your house bills, your car, your bike.
So not everything, just my bills.
It'd be your bills, not your luxury items, not your expenses. You still have to work
for the next 20 years.
For the next 20
I would take that, because what I would do is I would mortgage a mansion.
No, this is before.
For 20 years.
This is before you had the options. This is where you are now. Oh. This would be right now, your situation you're in.
I don't have many bills. I'll take the 500k.
Really?
My bills are almost non-existent.
So if they said, okay, we can take that responsibility off your family's shoulders for the next 20 years.
All of my family.
So your mum
from right now
paying that mortgage here. You know.
Nah, 500k.
Just have the 500k.
I reckon with 500k, I could do to start off, because I feel like you need money to invest, to make money, don't you? To invest and make your own money.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had 500k, I could use that to do a lot more than just paying off my family bills. And I know technically I could probably say to them, if you give me the money in cash, I'll pay your bills off. And they don't know I'm using magic. And that'll probably end up being more, but that's 20 years, so screw that. Okay. No, I reckon 500k. What about you?
I think 500k is probably too much money, I think I'll put on the table there. So I think, 500k is a lot of money. I'll probably take that. Because you could just carry on using that for 20 years and then some. Yeah, because I mean,
wait, we could always work this out for the next. So let's say, for example, your monthly bills are, let's just say, £1,000.
They are roughly.
Yeah, for most people, I feel like it's about £1,000 in a couple anyway. So let's say £1,000 times by 12, so that's 12k. So times by 20, so that's actually only £240,000. So
I suppose that anyway. On top of car bills, that would probably only get up to about 300, wouldn't it? So yeah. I suppose. Okay,
so let's say £250,000, or all your bills paid. So it's the same amount of money.
That would be interesting, because you could use the money however you want, but then you've got that problem. You might use it for the wrong things.
You might just pay all your bills, Ben.
Yeah. I mean,
that's potentially doubling your money. Then.
But that would be a lot less stress, wouldn't it? Because you could literally just enjoy your life. You wouldn't have to think about paying the. Let's just say, for example, something happened to you. You wouldn't have to think about it, because the money's all been paid for the next 20 years.
True, but if you're given the amount of money that you would pay anyway, then you might as well just have the money. Right?
Depends how sensible you are with money. If you're not very sensible with money, that might be helpful. So for me, I could look after it. If I gave it to someone else who I didn't think was very good with money, say a certain family member of mine, I know I'd turn around and go, that ain't gonna last.
Are you okay? Jesus.
So okay.
Yeah, well, it depends what you use your money for, right? Because I'm very much I want to enjoy my life, and I would much rather go on holiday and do all this stuff than spend all of my time having loads and loads of money in savings. Of course, I do agree having an emergency fund, like we talked about earlier, but I'm very much I've got an extra £1,000. What am I going to do with this? Oh, you could save it up. Yeah, right. I'm going to go on a trip. And then I'll try and make that trip as financially viable as possible.
Okay. Right. Do you have any more would you rathers?
Okay. Ben.
Okay.
You can have, right now, let's just go small. So you can have £10,000, or I can give you the equivalent of £20,000 in Bitcoin.
The thing is, so
how much do you know about cryptocurrency?
I don't know much about cryptocurrency. All that frustrates me though is trying to start up cryptocurrency, because I've looked online, and the hardest part is when you look online and you inquire, you get a lot of fraudulent companies coming up to you going, yeah, we're part of the cryptocurrency, but we need your login details or your, let's just say, for example, your bank account to start it up, start the process. And people get conned out of £200, £300, £400 doing that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Because I looked and I didn't trust it because I really wanted to do it, but I don't know where I'd start. If you now said to me that you'd found somewhere with £20,000 to set up in genuine cryptocurrency, I'd take it. I actually would take it.
Okay.
The problem is, it's hard to get started if you don't know where you're looking. That's why I never did.
Well, I also know that there's a problem with cashing out can be problematic as well.
If you lose, so there's a story of a guy who has a lot of money.
Oh, he lost it. Yeah, he couldn't find it.
He lost the password because he lost it in his old computer's hard drive.
Yeah,
which got chucked out. He has 3 attempts. He's used 2. He's got 1 left.
No.
If he doesn't find it, he loses millions.
Oh no! Can you imagine?
Could you imagine?
Oh my god!
Whereas if you had cash in hand, you're never going to lose it.
That's true.
But if you lost your password, and I know for me, I'm a fucker for losing my passwords. I change my passwords like there's no tomorrow. I can't remember which password I used for what website.
Yeah, that's
how the hell am I supposed to know? I'd get it wrong.
I have noticed that recently. I changed my password on a few things, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be smart about this, and I'm going to use different passwords. But now, it takes me about 5 attempts to actually log into anything because I keep forgetting.
So that's it. Your cryptocurrency would be gone.
Could be gone because I use Chrome to remember my passwords for most of my devices.
Yeah,
and you just use your finger or your thumbprint or whatever, don't you? Oh,
that's insane. Yeah, that's terrible.
I thought about this the other day. I was like, do I remember my login for my bank details? Because I just log in using my thumbprint.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't. I used to type it in because it's a random set of characters, and I memorized it so I could log in every time because I can't remember where I've stored it.
Yeah.
And now, if they ever ask me for that, I'm screwed. I've got no idea. I'm going to have to call them up and probably go through a thing
I would
to
say
reset it.
yes to cryptocurrency, but I would have that fucker written down in every room of the house on every bit of paper.
Would you not just go in and exchange it straight away?
Sorry?
Would you not just go in and exchange it straight away?
No, I'd like to keep cryptocurrency because it can build up.
Yeah, true. I'd probably take half though. I'd probably take half. So let's say, for example, it was £20,000 worth of Bitcoin or whatever. I would take the £10,000 out
that's
of
a
that
clever way
if
of
I
doing
could, and then keep the rest in and see what happens. Because I've seen it. It's literally one day skyrockets, and the next day drops loads, and you'll be losing.
I just suppose it depends how popular it gets at the point you do it. Because it's the same as like shareholders buying and selling. It's just buying and selling at the right time.
It's true. It's pretty much it. Yeah.
But it is going up. That is one of the most popular things at the moment. So I definitely would.
I don't like it because it's unstable. How I get it with finances and stuff like that, and the stock market, because it can crash and it can go skyrocket one day, but realistically it's way more stable than cryptocurrency ever has been. Yeah, so it's insane. Can you imagine putting your money in even when it's really low and then it just dropping loads?
Yeah,
it's like gambling. I do not gamble because
I
it
suppose
scares me.
If you were to take that advice, then £10,000 taken out and leaving 10,000 in, I think I could do that.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way of doing it.
Okay,
but it's weird because we talk about money here. We talk about £10,000, and I know I just called that a small amount, but I'm talking about a small amount in comparison to what we were just talking about. But if someone said to me, "Here's 10 grand," I'd be pretty happy with that.
I'd be happy with 5 grand.
I'd be happy with 10 quid.
I'd be happy with a good lottery win.
Yeah. Let's not get started on the lottery. I have lots of problems with the lottery.
We do want to talk about that, but we'll save that for another occasion, I think.
So that's it, guys. This is us discussing money, and you pretty much the conclusion is that money is better than happiness.
It affects everything.
I'm sorry, that's what we said. Money. We chose money over happiness.
I think I would every time. That's the saddest thing ever.
It is bad. It is terrible, and we're not good people. So we hope that you're better people than us. And what would you choose? Would you choose money or happiness? And I know that sounds really silly, but I feel like when people think about it, they want the money because money makes them happy, and it just saying the word happiness doesn't make you happy. So that's kind of confusing. But there you go. That's what it is.
And what would you have chosen for the would you rather? What ones did you choose? Did you choose the same as us, or did you go down a different route? And what's your reason behind it?
And did we miss anything? Please let us know. And guys, give us some examples of what you'd like us to talk about next. We've discussed relationships and money so far, and we've definitely got a few good, fun ideas, but some of them are a bit experimental, so I guess we'll have to see. So if you have anything else or anything that we've missed, because we can always come back to the subject, let us know. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed listening to this or watching it. And yeah, we are on YouTube now, so hello. And as always, we'll hear you in the next episode.
We'll speak to you in the next episode.
We'll speak to you in the next episode.